That's the last one, I reckon. Welcome back to Necrobarista. Does it have the magic caps in it? I think so. You can just call them caps, you know. They're built for something different. I refuse to use non-specific language. Yeah, they're in here. Okay, what about the thing? You have to be a little more... Oh, you know, the thing. Sparky thing. Ashley likes having friends who can understand her even when she fails to be specific. Electric. Sweetie, how long have you been awake? Better for you if you don't know, I think. You mean the voltage regulator? That's the one. Good job. Then one of the other boxes. I don't think we needed another one, though. Are you kidding? The last one is literally melted. It's a good thing I have an extremely sick metal arm, otherwise I would have been badly injured. Ashley's metal arm is a point of pride. She wouldn't trade it for anything, not even the arm that it replaced. Yeah, thank goodness. Is there anything missing? I shall check. Need some espresso? I think I'll literally die if I have any more. Hey, that's really mature of you. Nice job. Yeah, whatever. You can get me some chocolate if you want. Don't tell Ashley that chocolate has trace amounts of caffeine. At least, it's not more espresso. Sure thing, be back in a moment. Oh hey dude, where have you been? Hey, just chilling. Not much to do when you're waiting to die, I guess. Hey! Come on, Cooper. I know you're hiding down there somewhere. Hold this, will ya? Did Ned really say that? Yeah. Do you believe it? I'm not sure. Well, it's not a lie. The most dangerous lies are the lies we tell ourselves. But it's not the whole truth either. And I don't quite have the time to untangle it for you. Maddie's the sort of person to weave tangled webs without too much consideration for who's going to have to untangle them. I've got a hungry teenager downstairs and a summoning ritual to complete. Ah, she's part of this too. Don't you take that judgy tone with me. Hey, far be it from me to moralize at you. Getting a lot of that these days, mate. I'm just trying to keep everyone happy. Is that a crime? Tough gig. I'll say. Alright, now if you can solder those two wires. No, not those ones! Bloody hell. Who programmed you? Bet she's a jerk. Incredibly intelligent, but a very bad programmer. Actually learned how to program exactly the minimum amount she needs to, and not one iota more. Talking about yourself, right? Ah! Wow, you're really out of it, huh? Where'd you even pull this from? Leg holster? You aren't wearing a leg holster. Arm holster? Your prosthetic? It holds 6 million knives. Don't question me on this. I'm the expert here. Hey, need a hand? Dude, you should check yourself before you fucking wreck yourself. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Oh. Yeah, I guess you can help. Before I ask what you need, what are you even doing? Maddie mentioned a summoning circle. Yeah, something like that. You ever wanted to live forever? I'd trade that for just having a second chance, honestly. Well, grab me that box, please. You can't just leave me hanging like that. Watch me. And while you watch me leave you hanging, you can go get that box. Thank you. Yeah, so, this is really heavy. What's even in here? 100 meters of heavy gauge copper cable in a basement full of magical items. This copper wire might be the most thing in danger of being stolen. It's easy to flip, at least. Bunch of capacitors that I'm going to wire together soon, and some various bits and bobs. Well, that would definitely explain the weight. Oh, and there's also a bunch of clamps. So, what do you need? Validation. Chocolate. Coffee. A school system that doesn't punish me for having weird niche interests. I meant more, communism. Ashley's a real party girl. I don't think I can get you communism, sorry. And isn't Maddie already getting you chocolate? You're a terrible comrade, Kishan. If I wasn't close to hitting the LD50 of caffeine, I'd ask you for some coffee. So all you can do right now is give me that sweet validation. Okay. Your real thumbs up? Good human. I don't know what sort of validation you want here. I feel like I'm stuck in a loop of trying things that are inevitably going to fail, and I don't know how much of it is my fault for not being good enough at a monumentally difficult task. You know, I'm used to being effortlessly good at things. But I feel like my brain is full of bees on this one. Can I deal with failure? I don't think I can. I'm not equipped for failure. My entire perception of myself is that I'm good at things. I'm gifted and talented and incredibly afraid that I'm gonna let people down at a vital moment. This is that vital moment. But I can just sit here. But I just sit here paralyzed. And I rationally know that a lot of this pressure is just me being hard on myself. But Maddie and I, we tried this already, and we failed pretty badly. It was a disaster. For Ashley, of all people to call something a disaster, it must have been a real catastrophe. I can't understate how badly it turned out. So even with all the prep I'm doing, is this enough? I mean, did we learn enough to do it properly? Numbers and formulas and hard science are good, but I can't shake this feeling that I'm going to screw it up for everyone. And I'm so afraid of letting Maddie down. There are a few things we fear more than disappointing the people we love most. That's heavy as shit, mate. You reckon? Fully, yeah. I don't know what to say to that, except that I don't think Maddie would ever feel let down by you. I know I've only been here for like 2 days, but her and Shay seem to really care about you. And I'm sure that extends to accepting you for who you are, limitations and all. Though honestly, I think you give off a pretty strong vibe of not giving a shit about your limitations, or that you indiscriminately power through them with some sort of raw, caffeine-fueled fury. Anyway, you're immensely powerful and I'm terrified of you. Fair enough. I was never really super smart or gifted or anything. You know, sometimes the people think they're not gifted were just never made aware of the gifts. I just floated through school and work and never focused on much except having a good time. I can definitely imagine the sort of pressure you'd have on you though. Especially given how big this task is. Yeah. So while I can't say for sure that this thing is going to be easy or even successful, in this terminal you can feel like nothing is easy. Even Sunday mornings come with their own set of trials and tribulations. I do think it's important that you work on giving yourself a break from the weight of your own expectations. But it's not an easy thing, I'm sure. But my boyfriend is similar. He's very hard on himself when he feels like he's letting himself down. So it doesn't go away? I don't think so. I think it just gets easier to deal with as you learn to be more emphatic to yourself. So, self-forgiveness and all that. It's often hardest to forgive someone when you're aware of all their flaws. It definitely took him a good few years to even be able to deal with his self-imposed shame. I guess I can try that. You can try that. Or you can continue feeling super bad about yourself all the time. I mean, when you put it like that, right? I hate how rational you sound. I know, I'm disgusted at myself. Sup, nerds? What's going on in this thread? What? You're suddenly in a good mood. I maybe ate some of your chocolate. Maybe Maddie ate some chocolate. Maybe grass is green. Oh, I swear to God, if there isn't any left. Yep. Yes, we've been over this before. You'll comprehensively murderize me. You'd hate if someone failed to be comprehensive when they went about murderizing you. I've seen some incomplete murderizing attempts, and they ain't pretty. Ashley's milk chocolate. Don't worry, I only ate a little bit. She has her own brand of chocolate. Excellent! Is this enchanted chocolate or just normal chocolate? What about unenchanted dark chocolate? Where does that fall in the normal abnormal chocolate spectrum? Does he deserve to know? I don't know. Kinda like the mystery. It's completely normal chocolate, isn't it? Maybe. Maybe not. Can I have some then? Come on, you owe me. For what? Have you helped me set up all this? Oh yeah, that's fair. Here you go. This is totally normal chocolate. Yeah. Did you expect it to not be that? Well, you implied. We never implied. You came up with that one all on your own. Damn it. Alright, I'm bored. Let's later, dorks. Don't you run off of me, miss. This magical bank isn't even half done. Magic Cat Bank, sorry. I'll do it later. For now, I'm going to take a nap under that table. If anyone disturbs me... Come on. You'll be happy? Confused? Ticklish? Extra hungry? I will... Mention you in your diary? Mention me in your diary? Maddie doesn't keep a diary. All those thoughts and memories just stay cooped up in her head. One day she's gonna run out of space. Or sanity. I will exact terrible revenge on both of you later. Jeez, that phrase definitely doesn't start with an M. Bye! I'm not being too hard on her, am I? You? Nah, she thinks you're great. Good. I could probably stand to give her a break, though. There are a few people who appreciate a break more than Ashley, especially when it's a break from Maddie. I mean, just... I'm expecting a lot from her right now. She does seem a little overloaded. Fuck. But she'd tell me if things were too much, right? I don't know. Seems like she idolizes you. Idolatry's a sin, isn't it? Can't be healthy behavior. I reckon she'd pretty happily burn herself out for you, you know? I just need her for the next 4 or 5 hours. Then everything will be okay. Is that when you're planning on performing the ritual? This thing? Yeah. What's it for, anyway? Conduit ritual. Super forbidden magic. Oh, cool. Are you actually cool with this, or are you just saying that? Not usually, actually. Why's that? Well, you know, I was talking to Ned earlier, and actually, don't worry about it. It's fine, I don't care. What's it do? You know how I took a couple hours from you down here? Vividly. This is just a bigger scale version of that spell. Higher capacity. Who are you taking hours from? Nobody. Don't worry, bud. You're at a deficit already. When you get deep enough into the hole, you kind of stop worrying about climbing out of it and just kind of accept your fate. I can't touch you. Right, okay. So, even if you're lying right now, shouldn't you haven't taken enough to pay off your debt multiple times at this point? The hours weren't for that. Or maybe it just felt like hours. It can be hard to judge times when you're wandering around aimlessly. Well, what the hell did you do with them then? Where'd they go? Maybe they're for her. For our research, we used the following materials. Wire of copper, heavily drawn. Jasmine chalk, not Dover. Sustained electric supply of at least 20 volts. Car battery? Capacitors composed of that. Need better durability. However, we believe extra components are required. Our conduit's properties varied with the layout of our summoning circle, and despite the departure of our test subject during our trials, we were able to ascertain a number of efficiency-oriented refinements. Certain kinds of optimization require real dedication to craft, as well as the absolute necessity of a living but non-sentient vessel to act as a so-called storage container. More testing is required, though obtaining a willing subject for further methodology evaluations without attracting the attention of the council will be difficult, to say the least. I stored them. You stored them? All these hours are in this tree. Whoa, really? That's cool. I miss eating. Why, what was your diet like? I remember sushi. Sushi? I thought you said you were a crab. Well, what do you think? Crabs aren't dexterous enough to make sushi? Unquestionably, yes. What is this sushi? It's delicious is what it is. Rice and fish and seaweed, humans eat it. And crabs. I just don't know where a crab would find rice or a way to make good sushi. I also ate garbage. Yes, I also ate garbage on occasion. Unbelievable, you two. Unbelievable. Garbage is good for the soul. Garbage is garbage. It's in the name. What did you eat when you were alive, then? Grass, just normal grass. Boring. And tree roots sometimes. There are tree roots here, yes? Yeah, there are. Why don't you chomp on them? Well, I'm not hungry. We don't eat. And also, more importantly, they are powerfully magical. Maddie needs them. If we damage things that Maddie needs, then Ashley will be disappointed in us. A suboptimal state of affairs. I can feel the power in them too. However, I do not feel compelled to chomp on them. What a strange thought. Love to chomp. Chomp sushi, chomp sandwiches, chomp garbage. You're so weird. Oh wow, we got a bunch of stuff here. This is a lot of chapters. Mystical, sins, chocolate, disaster, metal arm, bittersweet. Got one more. Idolizes. Here we go. Lore. Ashley. More lore. Food. Ned for sins. Mystical for the terminal. Bittersweet for death. So what do you think about the game so far? I'm loving it. It's great. I love the atmosphere. The characters are really, really nice. It's a lot of good times. Oh, I can move around, that's right. Where are we at? Oh, a letter from Sophie Cordova. I don't know who that is. That's his intentions too. Did we see the first one? Something down under. What is this one? My dear Maddie, thank you for getting in touch with me. Oh, we can just. Oh wait, no, hang on. Let's return. That's we can't do this one. Dang it. Okay. We can't do this one. Let's do it. I like learning more about the characters. Ashley's original ideas. Do not steal. Floor sweeper. My last experiment with the kitchen assistant VL was a version 1. That's version 1. Version 1 was a big success if you measure success and how quickly it was able to pulverize things generally. The throwing objects at the ceiling technique does not work for pulverizing carrots or celery for solids, but it is very good at pulverizing halogen lamp bulbs. This made me think about how much better it would be if the floor was self-cleaning. Ashley's can sweep up a bit, but usually all they do is move dust around, and it's hard to get them to actually collect debris and put it into the trash. If the entire floor were covered with air jets, any small bits of debris that popped up on the floor would quickly get whisked away toward a corner, where a vacuum or something could suck them up into a disposal chute. Having a bunch of air jets would require a lot of power to run, but air isn't the only fluid that could be used to carry dirt and dust and broken shards of halogen lamp bulbs. Water could also possibly do the trick. The issue is the water would damage the floor. Ripping up the wooden floorboards and pouring concrete would solve that problem, and we could mold the concrete in a way that its shape directs the water toward the drain in the floor. That would mean no more need to sweep. We could just hose down the entire cafe at the end of the day and it would drain itself. That would be dry by morning. It's actually a really good idea that doesn't require any special equipment or specialized hardware once the floor is installed. I should copyright this idea to make sure that nobody steals it. Update. After several days of calling the Australian Copyright Council, I finally talked to a person who told me that what I want to cover inventions is a patent, not a copyright. After several more days of trying to contact the patent office, I was told somebody already used my idea. I wonder if it's possible to sue someone for stealing your idea before you came up with it. Probably. It's pretty unfair that I'm not able to patent an idea just because I'm too young to have the ideas before someone else claimed it. Knife Retriever version 2. Previously, I discarded the idea of using a large electromagnet to retrieve the knife that was lodged in the ceiling. My research has led me to believe that the knife in the ceiling is actually stainless steel, which contains iron. Iron is ferromagnetic, which is weird because you think that only ferro would be ferromagnetic, but I guess iron is too. Also, I was able to find a gas-powered generator that could supply enough power to run an electromagnetic for a short period of time, so I don't need to worry about the circuit breakers. It requires a lot of gas, but luckily getting the knife down only requires running the electromagnet for a short period of time. I created the electromagnet by spooling a power cable around a piece of iron. The good news is that the electric magnet is great at pulling knives from where they are. Bad news is that it pulled all the knives from the drawers that were within a meter of it when I turned it on. Also, the knife in the ceiling wasn't affected because it was too far away. I looked it up and magnetic attraction follows an inverse cube law. I'm not sure what the opposite of a cube is, maybe it's a sphere? But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense that objects further away aren't pulled as strongly by a magnet. Beseech your 5000. After my lack of success with the Knife Retriever version 2, I asked Shay for help and he lifted me up so I was able to pull the knife from the ceiling. He asked how long it had been up there and I said, well, not long, and he said more than a day. And I said, well, okay, it wasn't up for a day, which is technically true. I'm glad that asking Shay for help succeeded, but I think in the future there needs to be a way to automate this process of asking Shay for help. I think I need to create a robot with speech capabilities that's capable of asking for favors. Then I could have the robot ask for favors on my behalf. I think this is a good idea because usually when you ask someone for a favor, then you owe them a favor afterward. But if it were a robot asking for the favor, then the robot would owe the favor, not you. Then the person would ask the robot to do them a favor, and the robot would say, sorry, I'm only capable of talking to people, not doing tasks. Then if the person asked the robot to ask you for a favor, the robot would say, I'm sorry, my battery is running low, and then it would self-destruct. It would be expensive to build a new robot every time you had to ask for another favor, but it would be better than having to owe someone a bunch of favors after they helped you. It's adorable. That's adorable. I love it. So that was everything, right? Yep, let's okay, continue. Where are we at on time? 22 minutes. Good, unlock. My dear Maddie, thank you for getting in touch with me. Or perhaps I should say congratulations. I make such a point of making myself hard to find that it's always a surprise to hear from anyone. I sometimes find myself fearing the day when I'll be contacted by someone who isn't a fan of mine and who is more interested in locking me away than seeking my advice. One might think that people interested in putting me away would be more capable and in possession of more resources than those like yourself who simply possess curiosity, and yet it is always the latter who manage to break through the veil I've erected between myself and the outside world. You were the first in over 3 years to manage this, and so it is now time for me to find another hiding place. If your next letter manages to find me, I'll surely have something to worry about. If you're looking for a solution to the problem you outlined in your letter, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. My business is that of teaching people how to ask the right questions so that they can find the answers themselves, not giving the answers. After all, the most worthwhile answers are the ones I haven't found yet. That being said, your questions about time transference is an issue of special interest to me. The idea of storing vitality within a living non-sentient creature such as the plant is one that I have long considered. The issue has always been one of retrieval. If you did find a way to transfer vitality from a plant to a sentient creature, it would result in a tremendous discharge of energy. Such a great discharge that it would surely kill whatever subject would be on the receiving end. Absorbing life force from something doesn't seem like it would do much good if it kills you in the process. Consequently, I've never experimented with this process myself, even if I have earned a reputation for being a rule breaker, that there are certain things that are simply off limits. Your idea of using a non-living soul as the target for transference is an interesting one. No risk of killing the vitality recipient if it's already dead. Of course, that would require finding a way to infuse a non-living soul with vitality in the first place. And being that most reanimation techniques involve a significant discharge of energy, using the vitality transfer as the trigger would effectively be killing two birds with one stone. Of course, reanimation is a far cry from necromancy, but if your only problem is one of living borrowed time, well, you know better than I do how to resolve the particulars. I'm an alchemist, not a necromancer. If I can offer you one piece of advice, these kind of vitality transfers are not something to be experimented with. Anytime that a time is borrowed or lent, you are making an alteration to a ledger that the powers that be keep a very careful eye on. Even the smallest of disturbances is enough to attract their notice, and attracting their notice will put a quick end to any research you might be in the midst of. So if you are going to try vitality transference, don't experiment. Go straight for the end goal. If you're going to catch the attention of those whose attention you do not want, make sure that the endeavor is worthwhile. If you have a good reputation, it would be a shame to squander it on something so trivial as to allowing a mouse a few extra seconds on the side of mortality. As they say, go big or go home. I appreciate you taking the time to write to me. You've given me new things to pontificate on, and perhaps one day you may see the results of that pontification in one of my future volumes. Of course, it should go without saying that you won't be able to reach me again, at least not the same way you did before. I've been found, and that means I need to do a better job of covering my tracks. While I rationally hope that I will never find myself in a position where a fan's letter finds me, there is always a part of me that hopes that one of my readers will manage to track me down. Who knows? Perhaps the next letter I receive in my next residence will come from you. But I'm sure that you have better things to do with your time than try to track me down. There is a time to adopt the posture of a student, focus on learning, but it's obvious to me that you are someone who has spent plenty of time learning things, and is now ready to do things. So do things, Maddie. Do big things, do dangerous things, do things that break the rules. Not all rules need to be broken, but if you're smart enough to find me, you're smart enough to know which rules are worth breaking. I'm grateful that it is always the reader mail that seems to find me, and never the demands to appear before some kind of tribunal or committee. I used to think that this was a long string of extremely good luck on my part, but over time I've come to realize that those who wish me gone lack the insight of the people who earnestly read my work. Readers such as yourself, who are the only ones who truly know me well enough to understand how I think and where I would hide. Bravo, Maddie. You've demonstrated your ability to think like me. Now, you must learn to think like yourself. Yours truly, Sophia Cordova. Aw. Well, I think that's going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time on more Necrobarista. Have a good day, everybody, and as always, take care.